Plaintiff Arlene Tyler and her daughter Shaquilla say Shaquilla has a child with a defendant. Arlene claims the defendant assaulted Shaquilla several times during her pregnancy, and Arlene's suing him today because he drove his truck through her house after he threatened to kill her. Defendant Joseph Johnson admits that he drove into Arlene's home, but says it was only after Shaquilla stabbed him and nearly killed him, and he was concerned about the safety of his child.
Tell me what happened.
Well, the defendant, I only know him through the relationship of my daughter.
How long?
I would say a year now, since I have a 1-year-old daughter.
Okay, and you want to give me a little background on the type of relationship he's had with you or your daughter?
He has no relationship with me, but the relationship he had with my daughter, it was abusive. During the pregnancy, I had to take her to the hospital numerous of times for him putting his hands on her.
Really?
Yes, I did.
While she was pregnant?
While she was pregnant.
Did the police ever get involved?
No.
Why? Several times.
Well, my daughter can explain that, sir.
Young lady, state your name.
Shaquilla Jordan. The first time that we ever got into an altercation, when I did call the police, at the time he was only 16 years old and I was 19, and the police officer told me that if I were to press charges against him for assault, that they could press charges on me and that I would go to jail for rape. And I didn't later find out until after this incident that wasn't true.
All right. Any other times? How many other times had he abused you physically?
I mean, pretty much most of our relationship was us arguing and fighting and getting into altercation. So you can't really put an exact number on it.
How often would he physically assault you?
Probably like a couple times a month.
A couple of times a month for over a year?
Right.
Would you ever initiate the violence?
Sometimes, yes.
All right. Young man, you want to tell me about your relationship with the young lady and this violence I'm hearing about?
Yes, Your Honor. I met Shaquilla maybe I think it was a fall of 09, and she's had her own apartment then. And, you know, it was cool for me because I was only a sophomore and I didn't have to go to school and none of that at that time.
Not.
I wasn't going to school.
Oh, okay.
I was staying at her house, you know, I was smoking.
She didn't try to encourage you to go to school?
No, not at all.
Ma'am?
That is completely untrue, Your Honor. First of all, we met in
All right, I don't need the year. I'm just asking you specifically about him staying with
going
you.
To school. He stayed with me, but what the defendant told me, I didn't find out that the defendant was 16 until after I was pregnant.
So you thought he was out of school.
The relationship he had with my daughter, it was abusive. During the pregnancy, I had to take her to the hospital numerous of times for him putting his hands on her.
While she was pregnant?
While she was pregnant.
Defendant Joseph Johnson has a child with the plaintiff's daughter, who claims Joseph assaulted her several times throughout her pregnancy.
All right, go ahead.
Like I said, I didn't have to go to school. I was smoking at her house. She was smoking too. I was also distributing marijuana at that time. So she was probably the first one to smoke out my stash, basically. At that time, when I was staying at her house and everything, it was all cool until a couple of months later, until I had found out that we had got pregnant. And when I found out that we had got pregnant, I figured, you know, it was time for me to, you know, get myself together. And I did get myself together. I did fairly good at it. I ended up getting my GED. I had plans on going to Job Corps, which I was getting ready to do at that time until the defendant ended up having a baby. Okay. And when she had the baby, just from there, everything went downhill.
How?
Well, you know how it is. I was 16, she was 19. We was problems about how financial problems.
You all were immature. Now, what are you doing now?
Well, now I'm currently getting ready to finally get back in Job Corps now because.
Why did it take so long? You've had your GED for a couple of years.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, the defendant stabbed me. I got stabbed. And it was a very traumatizing for me and my family.
How long ago did she stab you?
It's been about a year now.
Okay.
And I'm just not getting physically motion in my right side of my body.
Were you all both? She admits that you all were going at each other. She would initiate it, you would initiate it.
No, sir. That is completely untrue. And
contact.
I have 4 police reports. 4.
Do you have any?
No, and I don't know how he got some.
The four
I
you
have
can
some.
request them. How many do you have?
I have 3.
And the 3 allege that he hit her on those occasions?
Only from this is only from
The reason
the
I'm
16th.
asking, you're suing him for property damage.
Right,
so
from
I'm
me.
sure it involves him doing something violent. And
Right,
therefore, I need to hear, however, his propensity for violence and hers.
Your
So
Honor.
your 3 police reports,
Yes, he called my home, right. The defendant
are they
called
against her or him?
him.
Okay, and the 4 you have, they're against her?
The 4 that I have, well, one of them, the 3 that I have is against me, and they don't make any sense at all. It's a false file report.
Gotcha.
It's a false file report.
Never been convicted of violence against her?
I've been convicted of it, but the charge was also dropped. I mean, the battery that she pressed against me was dropped, and it's also in here, and it also I also
true?
have.
What I know is that he entered a plea
Right.
with the court
Well, they'll
system
take
so
it
that
off
it
your
could be
record
dropped. Right,
after
that's
a
what
certain
happened.
amount
It
of
wasn't
time.
like they just
Right.
like, no,
and
they
that
just
is
dropped
called,
it.
you're right, that's a deferral. And deferrals do allow you to legally say it was dismissed. And so do expungements. Those are the purposes for having things removed off your record. So you can say no. When they ask you on your application, you've been convicted of a crime, and as long as you've had it legally expunged and had all the records pulled, which is what your expungement order allows you to do, you can go to the police department and eliminate it from your record. Here's an expungement order. Go to whoever else might have it, the FBI list. Can I please have that wiped away? So that you're able to say, no, I haven't been convicted of anything. And when an employer looks, it won't be any record. That's the whole objective of expungements. Otherwise, why get it expunged when you get ready to go for a job? They hold you back anyway. That's the purpose of wanting something expunged, for the most part, is to move forward in life. Yes, ma'am.
What I wanted to say, Your Honor, was that as far as the way that the defendant is trying to make it seem like, I was helping the defendant get his stuff together. I helped him and told him that he needed to go to school and that he needed to get his GED, and I was taking him to school. I'm the one who helped him get his driver's license, who helped him study to get his driver's license. I was the one who was taking him back and forth to work one so that he could find a career for himself. The defendant is just lazy, Your Honor, and he does not want to do anything for himself. He does not do anything for his child, and he has never done anything for his child. The defendant has a history of anger problem, and I'm not the only person that knows that. His family knows that. Many times during my pregnancy, his family, his mother and father have sat down and told me that I know that my son needs counseling. I know that my son needs help. Please don't give up on my son. Please try to stick with my son, because I know that he needs his help, but he won't go.
Your Honor, my mother pressed charges on her for battery of almost killing me.
And the officer dropped it because he called
Now, what was the stabbing about? Was he assaulting you, or did you initiate the stabbing?
He initiated it.
He initiated a fight, and you defended yourself by stabbing him?
That's a lie, Your Honor. The report is right here, and I have the report, and that's on everything.
Was she prosecuted?
Actually,
No, she was not.
All rise. This court is now in session.
If you're in Chicago and would like to attend a taping of the Judge Mathis Show, call us at 1-866-3-MATHIS. Defendant Joseph Johnson has a child with the plaintiff's daughter, who claims Joseph assaulted her several times throughout her pregnancy.
Why wasn't she prosecuted then?
Why, Your Honor, I couldn't even tell you why wasn't she taken to jail. All I can tell you is that I live in a poor city. And I deal with a lot in that city of Gary.
Is it a big city or small city?
It's a small city.
Why do you say you deal with a lot of it?
Because my brother was just shot and killed a month ago by a Gary police officer. And
Sorry to hear that.
I'm dealing with that right now. My family is dealing with that right now, and it's a lot of emotional stress on me. I'm just dealing with a lot right now. I got a lot on my hands. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you why she wasn't prosecuted.
The reason that I was not prosecuted, which the detective told me, is because you cannot even keep y'all story together.
She stabbed me, Your Honor. It doesn't matter. She stabbed me.
It does matter. If she stabbed you in self-defense, it does matter.
Your Honor, it wasn't self-defense in the report.
Well, if they didn't prosecute her, that means they didn't believe you. Let me hear from you about this property damage.
On February the 16th, Joseph called my home looking for my daughter to the incident that happened with them on the 13th of February.
What had happened on the 13th?
That was the stabbing? That was the stabbing.
Mm-hmm. So on the 16th, what happened?
He
Your Honor,
called my
that's a
home,
lie.
asked for my daughter. I said, she's not here. I said, what do you want, Joseph? I want my baby. I said, well, they moved to Indianapolis with her sister because I don't think I didn't feel that he needed to be in contact with her right now, what was going on with their situation. So he got to cussing me, verbally cussing me out, telling me he gonna kill me, my whole family. I hung up. He kept calling my house. He coming over there. About 10 minutes later, he at the door trying to get in. He couldn't get in there. So he got back in his truck. I thought maybe he would leave, but he didn't. He got it in his truck, pulled up on the grass, and drove his truck into my window. Me, my grandbaby, and my daughter was in there.
Was anyone harmed? Hopefully not.
No. Thank God for
Sir,
that.
this sounds outrageous. Did you do that?
Your Honor, I was charged with that, and I ended up serving 30 days in juvenile. I was trying to get behind it. The report says that she wasn't there.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
What happened was that when I got up out of the hospital, doped up off anesthesia and a lot of other drugs, I was in fear for my child's life. I was, because she stabbed me, Your Honor. She stabbed me. She almost killed me, came in inches within my jugular vein.
So you thought she killed a child?
I thought she was gonna kill my child too.
Gotcha.
I thought for sure that she was gonna kill my child.
What else you want to tell me, sir?
I want to tell you that in this false report.
No, tell me about the incident where you went through the window in a car.
Yeah,
like a coward.
The incident. Well, first of all, when I went in there to check and see if my daughter was in there, she was in there.
How did you get in?
How did I get in? I went in straight in through the window. The truck.
All right.
Straight in.
Like a coward.
No, not like a coward.
That is what a coward would do.
No.
That is what a coward would do. Run through the window. 3 women inside. I bet you wouldn't do that to no real man.
I went in there looking for my child.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't do that to no real man. So much you looking for your child. You need to be in the penitentiary.
Your Honor,
Judgment for the plaintiff.
Proof out here.